In this video, I'll show you how to use Figma's grid and layout tools to build structured tables quickly and efficiently. These tables are responsive within desktop layouts, but not mobile responsive. Let's dive in. Let's build a real-world table using Figma's grid system. I have an admin page layout designed to track orders. Some components are already prepared, like a side menu, buttons, checkboxes, table head and actions, and a table cell frame. While you can build tables entirely with components, I'll keep it simple for now. Let's start building the table. First, I'm creating a frame, 1000 pixels wide and 800 pixels high. Since we're designing for a responsive layout, the width isn't critical, it's just for now. Next, I'm filling the background with white. This part is optional, but it helps visually while designing. Now let's apply a grid. I'm adding 7 columns and 11 rows, including space for the table header. I'm setting the E gap to 0 pixels to keep the layout tightly aligned. Now that our table frame is ready, let's move forward. First, I'm renaming the frame to Table, always a good habit for keeping layers organized. Next, I'm copying the table head component into this frame and placing it in the first column. This header uses auto layout with a simple text label. I've set it to fill both width and height, so it stretches nicely to fit the grid cell. The content is left aligned for a clean table look. Now I'll duplicate this header 6 more times using Command+D. This quickly fills the entire top row with our header cells. Let's rename each of the table header cells to match the structure of our admin order table. The second column is now order number. Then comes customer name, followed by order date. Next is statuses, then total amount, and finally, the last column is for actions. Now, let's set up the first column for row selection using a checkbox. I'll select the first header cell, and in the right side panel, switch it to the checkbox variant I created earlier. This header component has 2 variants, one with a checkbox and one without. So, we'll use the checkbox variant here to allow users to select all rows at once. Next, let's start placing our table cells. I'll copy the table cell frame I created earlier and paste it into the grid. Then I'll set it to fill width and fill height, so it perfectly fits each cell. This component has a bottom border which helps visually separate each row, like a subtle row divider. Now, I'll duplicate this row 6 times using Command+D. Let's add some sample content to our table. I'm selecting the text tool and clicking inside the second column. I'll type in some dummy numbers because it is order IDs, and then adjust the text style to match the design needs. Since this is just a free-form layout inside a frame, technically, you can place text anywhere. But aligning text properly inside a table cell is important. Now here's a common issue. If I select the cell frame and try to align the text to the left and center vertically, it doesn't work as expected. Now, when I select the text layer and try to align it vertically using constraints, for example, setting it to center vertically, it doesn't behave correctly. If I resize the row, the text doesn't stay centered. So constraints alone won't help here. But when I use the alignment tools in the top bar, like clicking Align Center vertically, it actually does work as expected. This means the text stays vertically centered even when the table resizes. For example, if I align the text to the right and bottom using constraints and then resize the cell, the text aligned to the bottom right. Use the alignment tools in the top bar, like clicking Align Center vertically. That you can see constraints also change to center. So the key here is use alignment buttons, not just constraints. Click Align Vertical Center, and then align left or right based on your design. Add a little padding using Shift arrow keys for spacing. I'll copy the sample number and paste it into the order date and amount columns. Then I'll update the values to something more realistic, like actual dates and currency amounts. They're aligned properly, left and vertically centered, just like we want. Next, for the customer name column, I already have a component for that. So I'll just copy and paste it into each cell. Again, aligning it left and center. Move right side 10 pixels. For the status column, I'll follow the same approach, paste the status labels, and align them to the left and center as well. For the action column, I'll copy the action component and align it to the center of the cell. Now let's add checkboxes to the first column. Copy the checkbox and paste it into each cell in the first column, then align it center. Right now, the checkbox column is too wide. So to fix that, select the table frame, hover over the first column until you see a blue overlay with the column width label, then click and set the value to 60 pixels. That reduces the checkbox column width. Similarly, the action column doesn't need much space either. We'll set it to 120 pixels. Now you'll notice the first and last columns have fixed width. The other columns expand or shrink automatically, so when you resize the table frame, the layout remains responsive, adapting perfectly to the new width. Now let's quickly duplicate the entire set of table rows to create a full table. I'm selecting all 7 columns and I'll duplicate them 9 times using Command+D, and just like that, the table is ready. But right now, it's filled with placeholder content, so let's make it more realistic using the Content Reel plugin. 1. Update customer names. Select all the customer name text layers by holding Shift+Command. Open the Content Reel plugin, go to the Text tab, and select Full Name. Instantly, all the names are replaced with realistic ones. To update avatars, select all the avatar image layers. In the Image tab of Content Reel, choose Avatar. Each row now has a unique human-looking avatar, super fast. 3. Update order date. Select all the date text layers. Again, from the Text tab, choose a date option. Done. Now the dates look real and varied. 4. Update amounts. Select all the number layers in the amount column. Then pick a US currency option from Text tab. You can even customize currency formatting if needed. 4. Update order number. Select all the number layers in the order number column. Then pick a number option from Text tab. Now let's update the order status column. Right now, all the rows are showing shipping, but we want to make it more dynamic. I'll select the entire status column from top to bottom. Then, while holding Shift, I'll deselect a few rows to keep some variety. Once selected, just press Enter to select status components. With all those selected, I'll update the text to processing using the right side panel. I'll select the last few rows and change their status to delivered. Then select a couple of rows and update them to canceled, just to show some real-world variant. Now the status column looks much more natural, just like a real order dashboard. Note, you'll notice that some customer names are getting cut off. Don't worry. We'll fix that once we move everything into the final artboard layout. Let's set up the final layout, just like the design we previewed earlier. Step 1. Create the artboard. Start by creating a frame with a width of 1440 pixels. Set its direction to horizontal auto layout. Add a spacing of 30 pixels between elements. Step 2. Add the side menu. Now let's paste in the side menu component we prepared earlier. That will sit on the left, just like a typical admin layout. Step 3. Add a header. Select the text tool and type a simple page header. Here that we can add profile image, notifications. Wrap this inside an auto layout frame and set it to fill width. If you like, adjust the text style and add a bottom border for visual separation. Step 4. Build the container. Wrap the header inside another vertical auto layout frame. This frame will be our main content container. Rename it to Container. Now we'll paste all the remaining content, including the table, inside this container, making sure everything stays aligned and scalable. Select the text tool and type something like Orders Dashboard or anything relevant to your page. Apply the appropriate text style. Now, wrap the text inside an auto layout frame, set the direction to horizontal. Next, add action buttons. Drag in your primary button component. Duplicate it twice, using Command+D. Update the first and second buttons to secondary style. Select all the buttons and wrap them inside another auto layout. Set the alignment to space between. This keeps the title on the left and buttons on the right. Next, let's add dashboard summary cards, the kind you usually see for showing key stats like total orders, revenue, etc. First, select the main container, the one holding your page header and table. In the right panel, set a 30-pixel padding on the right side just to give our layout some breathing room. Next, insert cards. I already have a card component ready. Let's copy and paste one card into the container. Step 3. Convert to grid layout. Select the card, wrap it in a new auto layout frame, then change the layout type to grid. Configure it as 1 row, 4 columns, gap between items, 30 pixels. Make sure the card and wrapper are set to fill containers so they stretch equally. Duplicate the card. Now simply duplicate the card 3 more times using Command+D. You now have a responsive 4-column metric card layout inside your admin dashboard. Now let's add a tab-style navigation above the table, perfect for toggling between views like all orders, shipped, canceled, etc. I already have a tab component ready. Let's copy the tab component and paste it into the artboard, right below the metric cards. Wrap the tabs in an auto layout frame. Set direction to horizontal. Set spacing to 16 pixels. Now duplicate the tab 2 or 3 times to create multiple tab options. Update the first tab to active state using your component variants or styles. Select the tab wrapper frame. Add a bottom border to visually separate it from the content below. This gives it that clean tabbed look. Insert the table. Now let's bring in our finished table. Simply copy the table frame and paste it below the tabs inside the main vertical container and make it this as fill width. It should align perfectly since our container uses auto layout. Now our artboard still has a fixed height, so let's change that to hug. Select the artboard. Change the height to hug contents so it will automatically expand based on the content inside. Now, try resizing. You'll notice that the layout adjusts. But wait, you might see that the card wrapper section doesn't grow properly. That's because Figma grid layout doesn't currently support hug height, which means its height stays fixed even if content inside grows. Fix grid height limitation. Select the card wrapper. Change the layout to auto layout, horizontal. Set the gap to 30 pixels and height to hug. Now, when you resize the window or container, the cards adjust properly. Simple and effective. If you want to lock certain columns, like the status column, to exactly 140 pixels, just select that specific column frame inside your table grid. Manually set the width to 140 pixels. Now when you resize the table, the other columns will auto-resize, but this one stays fixed. Hopefully in the future, Figma will let us add minute and max width settings for grid columns. That would be a game changer for responsive screens. And that's how you can build a responsive table layout using Figma's grid and auto layout tools, perfect for dashboards, admin pages, or any structured data view. Yes, it's true. Even without using the grid, you can create clean, functional tables just with auto layout. But it's important to understand how to use grids too, especially when working with structured or repetitive data. It gives you more control and clarity over spacing and alignment. I hope this video gave you some new ideas to try in your next design. If you found this helpful, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends or design community. It really helps support the channel and keeps me motivated to create more useful Figma content for you. Your support means a lot. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep designing, keep exploring.